Think we are going strong here. Great camera. And it's a beautiful day in Denmark today. It has really been a, even pretty much slept most of the day, sadly. But, at least the last part of the day has been very wonderful. Getting some sun really, changes, gives some energy. You don't feel absolutely help also on health, it seems. Anyway, so I was going into Copenhagen like a week ago. I've been a little long at getting this. So I was going in regards of trying to find some seaweed. Some standard square seaweed in regards of what is it called in English? I'm actually not sure, but you roll sushi in it and all that, and it actually, instead of chips, instead of chips you can just eat some of this instead, and you can, if you have some fat, you can actually make some kind of chips out of them, and it's cheaper than actually just buying them, and you can get the material that you like to use, because a lot of these chips out there are used by other kinds of fat that are, said to hurt you actually. So, and I'm still experimenting with this and still having some issues here and there, but it seems like it was I had some problems when I made, where it began to, I could feel it throughout the body, and that's not good. So, but I think it was the fat that I used. But I used different kind of fat, but I didn't have, I didn't have anything at that point. So I just used whatever I had, because I didn't have any more money to buy anything. So I just ate seaweed and the fat that I had, and used different kinds of fat, and that might not have been the best thing. I'm not sure, but at least I got a negative reaction. Nori seaweed, I think it's called, roasted seaweed. Sushi, nori, Asian food service and all that. Looks pretty good, right? But what I didn't see, and this is the silver, you can get gold and silver. There's a slight variation in the color, might also be in the taste, but let's see if we can get the camera up and close this down. So, at least for a while, it has a way of closing the camera again, very annoying. But this is like tin sheaves, but what I didn't see is, this looks pretty good, right? But what is down here? It's halal. I'm actually not sure in regards to the letters in Arabic. I wonder if that is actually an A, an Aleph. I'm not sure if they use the same letters. There is a Semitic language as Hebrew and Aramaic. Aramaic actually seems to have much... Aramaic actually seems closer to Arabic as far as I can see, but I'm still studying things and all that, but it just seems Aramaic is much more like Arabic than Hebrew actually. But anyway, Hebrew seems a little more soft in some sense, and Arabic seems just harder. But anyway, halal meat, halal, so who knows if this has been sanctified to the false god. It seems like when they have these things, they actually sanctify things, bless the things in regard to the name of their false god. And the same thing with, I got these, this was I went into these Thai shops to get nuri things, and just looking it over, and I found some that didn't have it. Actually, it's a mess here, sorry about that, in regards of I'm still cleaning. But I have a way of being messy in the kitchen. So let's see here, I have another one here. Anyway, it's still oh well, let's see here. Uh-oh. So I got another one. It's not that, let's see if we can. Yeah, it's my kitchen is not that, it's not yeah, it's a little messy in the kitchen for sure. I need to clean that up. Anyway, here we have another one, and this is the nori other thing. I'm trying to get this thing off to see if there's any halal meat under it. I haven't really. I've pretty much stopped by that. But anyway, here you can see it. Needs to go into the water again. Also had the same in regards to the coconut milk. I'm still trying to get that off to see if there's any, because this was the only coconut milk that wasn't actually in any halal certification on, because I was drinking some of it and I began to feel like, you know, I'm not sure if I'm, you know, when I'm eating, you know, just I ate a lot of, at a point I ate a lot of sheep. And I actually, you know, the spiritual things in regards of feeling suppression from on my head was actually when I ate these, and I actually did, I did two mistakes. Let's see if we can get the camera. I did two mistakes. I pretty much messed up in two ways in regards of, yeah, the meat, where I didn't know it was actually slaughtered to a false god, but I found out later. I wrote to them, and it was, I thought it, you know, it's like a Catholic country, but of course, you know, actually not a surprise, they were selling halal, but without actually writing it on their product. So I was, at all that time where I had these issues, I was eating slaughtered meat, meat slaughtered to a false god, and actually defiling myself. I did some other things that I should not have done as well. So I had two things that I was thinking it could be, and maybe it actually was a combination of the two things, that I was spiritual hurting myself in both ways. So anyway, so this one is, so I began to get the same, you know, I had, you know, after beginning to, you know, find out what is actually halal and what is not halal, it actually had stopped, and also getting away from the other issue. I actually had gotten it, you know, to where I actually couldn't, you know, it didn't seem to be suppressing me at that point, whatever it is. So, but again, the Bible says that, you know, don't eat meat slaughtered to false gods, because it will defile yourself. So I guess it has something to do with that. In any case, it just seemed to make it harder to research and all that. It seems to be suppressing me. So, and I was like up here and just suppressing. It's like suppress. I'm not sure how to. But in any case, so I began to get the same again after drinking some of this coconut milk, and I was like, what is going on here? I haven't, and maybe it's just, you know, maybe it's just how it is, you know. I was eating some seaweed as well, you know, the other seaweed, but it doesn't say it's halal, sanctified or blessed or whatever to a false god or anything. But anyway, I was like, this is weird, you know, because I haven't had it for a long time. And then I looked on the things and there you go. What does it say? Well, it says, well, it doesn't say it in English, but it's the Central Islamic Council of Thailand. It's the halal, and you can actually, you know, if you remember it from this, it's the same halal thing, you know, the same letters that you find. It's a little hard because on the camera it turns the things around. And maybe I should actually show it in, but you know, just be aware that my kitchen is a mess, you know. It's just not, it's just probably the worst place in the house, and of course that should actually be the cleanest. But as you can see here, Central Islamic Council of Thailand. And I should have known, I should have thought, you know, I should have checked these things before I actually, so I got 4 of them. I got 4 different, and this was, I think actually this was the one I was drinking first. And it was actually pretty good, you know. You could drink it from the straw directly. One of them had a lot of fat in it. I think it might have been this or this one. That was this one as well. Maybe this one. One of them had a lot of fat anyway. But this one didn't have any marker on it. At least one of them had a lot of fat. In any case, this one was pretty, it was just drinkable out of the box. It was pretty good, you know. But then I began to have these suppressing issues. And I was like, and what do we have here? And remembering back to it, talking to the owner of the shop and talking to another guy, and we were talking a little about religion and in regards to Thailand, what kind of religion they had, and I should have, I should have known. In regards of love, they didn't have any problems really. They had all these kinds of different religions and no problem and blah blah blah. But I should have thought about, I've just, something should have clinged in me, and I should have checked the products that I have taken, that I took. But there we go, another one. Let's see if we can get it to the Central Islamic Council of Thailand, and there we go. So this is the halal meat, halal marker again. So this was a halal, this is halal, and this is apparently, sadly, also halal. It's coconut, coconut. I know it's not slaughtered, and I know the New Testament doesn't say that we shouldn't eat anything sanctified to a false god, but I think there's some problems with it as well. You can see the Catholic Church where they have the false cookie Jesus, and actually murdered people if they denied the body and flesh, that the cookie became the body and flesh and soul and sinews of Jesus Christ. And of course they, if people didn't want to take it, they would be, they was hunted down and murdered as well. This whore of Rome, the great city, led by the false, the what shall we say, his fartiness, yeah. That's much better than his so-called holiness, blasphemy. Anyway, taking all the titles of God on himself. Anyway, this one I didn't find any marker on, so that's... But then we have one more, and there's a lot of probably Thailand, but what do we have here? This is Cao Co, 100% coconut milk, and some information on it and all that. The reason why I was, getting the coconut milk was, this is said to be good against what shall we say, what is it called, fungus. It's said to be, that's, the fat in it is said to be good against fungus. But anyway, if you take too much fat, you get fat, surprisingly. If you eat sugar and fat together, you get fat very quickly. That's my experience anyway. If you just eat sugar, you don't get fat, you lose weight. If you haven't, if you don't get any fat in your diet and just eat sugar, you will lose weight very quickly actually. But if you have sugar and fat together, you can take a lot of, the body will put it on the body instead, because it has all the fuels it needs. It have the fuel from the sugar, so it doesn't need to use the fat for the fuel, so it can just, yeah, anyway. So that makes sense, I think. So let's see, I'll just open this. Maybe I could use the other camera here. So let's see here. So there's not that much time actually for the Sabbath. It is closing. I think it's, the sun is pretty much, I can still see the sun, but it's closing for sure. It's very sad that I didn't get up earlier. But this was the seaweed I was talking about, slaughtered to Satan, or sorry, sanctified to Satan. So what do we do with this? Well, let's see here. There's only one way for things slaughtered to Satan to go. That's in the trash. Sorry, but that's the way. It's very sad. But I'm not going to defile myself with something sanctified. I saw an article in regards of Toblerone, which is like a Danish candy company. I think they're Danish anyway, maybe. Anyway, any case, they were beginning to, they had apparently they were going to have a Mohammedan, or already had it, a Mohammedan to bless the Toblerones, sanctify the Toblerones. I don't want to eat anything. Now, of course, I shouldn't eat candy anyway, but why would I eat anything that is sanctified to a false god? And why are we doing all these things? In Denmark, give me a break. We're living in Denmark and we have pagans sanctifying and slaughtering to a false god. Yeah, crazy, totally crazy. This is a nut house. So anyway, so down the trash with that, and of course the other ones, you know, just wanted to show that at least 4 of the tree that I bought, was, you know, sanctified to a false god, or at least halal certified. So again, you know, out in the trash. So what I did with the rest of them, of course, I opened them and threw the things out. It's very sad, but it's I'm not going to drink anything sanctified to a false god, at least not on purpose, you know. That's not going to work. Let's see, do I have one more? No, actually, this was a roasted sea lava. It has had a weird thing, but I think it was actually okay. But it has like a... Oh, that was actually from the other one. I was looking if there was anything in regards of halal, because I had eaten 25 leaves or something like that. They taste, you know, pretty... it's not bad, you know. And I didn't roast them, but, you know, you can roast them and it actually gets even more tastier, and put some salt on them and some chili or whatever, you know. So... let's see if we can... it's beginning to get darker, sadly. It was a wonderful weather. Wonderful... You know, it has this spring thing, but of course we're also nearing the new year. So that would of course be, you know, the time. Let's see. No, there's not any halal thing on this that I can see. But, you know, why take... You know, it's just sad that, you know... that they have a lot of their things sanctified and, you know, to a false god. And here we go again with the halal meat. So three of the 4 of the coconut things that I bought apparently was sanctified to it. I don't know if they sanctify in regards of putting a prayer on it, or if they just, you know, put the sticker on it. But overall, you know, you never know, you know. At least it's not good. It's not looking good for sure. So that's pretty much it, I guess. I just had, what shall we say? Oh yeah, in regards to the rice as well. I bought the rice at the Thailand thing as well. So I was you know, I was thinking maybe they have sanctified the rice as well. Now, of course, we don't directly have anything. At least what I found, I haven't really found anything that directly says we shouldn't eat anything sanctified to a false god. But maybe they just, you know. But I have some outside sources in regards of don't eat anything sanctified to a false god. And we have historical where Christians didn't want to take this cookie Jesus and the mass, you know, they saw the mass as the most abominable, you know, ever. And if you look into the mass, it's the false cookie Jesus of the Catholics, of the Antichrist. It's not the true Jesus. And it seems to actually go back to, again, pagan sun worship. But in any case, we have some history. I'm sure we have. There must be much more out there of it. But again, Rome has censored a lot of things, as far as I can see, down through history. So it's not everything that. But in any case, in regards to food sacrificed to a false gods, that's an absolutely no-go. We can both see that in the New Testament, the Old Testament. And or so-called Old Testament, and it's a little hard, you know, in regards, but we also have some outside sources as well, you know, for example, the Dedicate saying that, but by all means, don't touch meat slaughtered to, you know, don't eat anything slaughtered to a false god or to an idol, and so, you know, in regards of, and you know, not to defile ourselves. I'm not sure how much information Satan has taken away from us in regards of it, but it seems, it's curious. It seems like a great way of attacking the Christians and defiling the people of Denmark to begin to sanctify and sacrifice the foods to a false god. Now again, I don't know what is going on in the spiritual world, but when the Christians are saying that you shouldn't eat anything sacrificed to a false god, maybe we shouldn't sacrifice, or eat anything sacrificed to a false god. Maybe that's because we shouldn't eat anything sacrificed to a false god. And of course that's where we see a problem with Paulus as well, because he's promoting that we can just do anything without any problem, which is against the council in Jerusalem and Jesus Christ in the book of Acts, or Yeshua in the book of Acts. So again, I guess it's up to the person himself, but why would I want to touch anything that is slaughtered to or sanctified to Allah, may have a prayer with it in regards. And of course, if you're atheist, you don't think it will do any harm, right? But the spiritual world is there even if you believe it or not. So it will have, if it's a negative thing, which it seems to be, why would Satan make the pagans slaughter to a false god? And as I understand it, also swine is something that they really were, in regards to slaughtering to false gods. But I'm thinking maybe this was because there was a way into the people by doing this abomination. And of course we have some sources that also talks about that. But I do wonder if there's more sources out there, because it seems the Christians actually knew these things. Some of the quotes are like, yeah, we Christians don't take part in that. We don't eat these things. We keeping away from the... And it's like, there must have been more sources on it for sure. I do wonder how many sources Satan actually took away from, from us in that way. So, I guess better safe than sorry. So that would be my way of it, Why would... So I was looking in regards, this is rice. You can get a lot of food out of rice, I didn't find any halal marker on it at all, so it seems to be okay. But in any case, comparing it to some of this, like black rice, it has a lot of zinc apparently, which seems to be a good thing. So this is the, you get it in so this is black rice. I have some other black rice, which is actually better and more expensive, but it's better. This is from Irma, but it's not, it's from, there's a less chance that has actually been sanctified to a false god, so, and there's no marker on it. But I do wonder why all these, why, it seems like an ethnic agenda to, the Catholic, the Antichrist couldn't get us to defile ourselves with the cookie Jesus. So what do he do? Well, he just import the Mohammedans and begin to, apparently make people slaughter to Allah. And then have some Mohammedans inside and make the blessings and all that to a false god. And now, not a blessing, make the prayer when they slaughter the animal and all that. Why would we accept that in Denmark? Why would we even have that in Denmark? Why would, we're going down and try, buying some meat, right, at the store, and we think it's good, but they have defiled it. Now, of course, the butchers say, oh, it's the same meat, and oh, really? Oh, really? So why does the Bible talk about not, if you're a Christian, not doing it, not eating it? If there's no difference with it, Of course, probably most of these people are atheists or, working for Satan in one way or another. And, if you can control the top of the pyramid, you can control it all the way down. And, that the Danish people apparently, or, the forces apparently began to do this in the 1970s. Why would you begin to sell food sacrificed to a false god when most of the population in Denmark are, said to be in some sense Christians, but anyway, but at least we're not Mohammedans. Why would you just, and you didn't tell the people about it. It's only in our days, in some sense, that that it's become visible, really visible, that 95% of the chickens are slaughtered to Allah. Are you out of your mind? Some people might not care, some people do, and the ones that do seems to be, in some sense, made fun of and discarded, and you're a crazy person, and all that. That's very interesting to see how the world is going, actually. Very sad, very sad. But anyway, I don't understand it. Maybe they didn't tell the people, which is dishonest, but maybe they didn't tell the people in the 1970s and the 1980s, because maybe people would have reacted much more than they do today, because we have become like, we don't care about anything in regards to these things. It's just, we have, it's just sad. We're totally ripe for deception, and it's just going the wrong way, and just going more and more the wrong way. And how we are importing paganism from all over the world nowadays is like, are we insane? Are we totally stupid? I think we are totally stupid. We are really, we're not right in our mind. Oh yeah, Hinduism. Oh yeah. Oh, Buddhism. Oh yeah. New Age. Oh yeah. Whatever, whatever satanic, different packages, same thing from Satan and all that. And Mohammedanism. Oh yeah. Catholicism. Oh yeah. Let's get it all in, right? Let's have idolatry and, whoring with false gods and defiling ourselves by eating meat slaughtered to a false god, and things sanctified to false gods and all that. You're totally nuts. Why would we? Why? With the background we have in regards to the lights that we have had in regards to the protest. Now we still have a lot of issues in regards to that, and then that's the whole thing is rotten. All the shepherds, so-called shepherds out there that should stand for the truth, are totally rotten. They are like ecumenical, loving people, thinking everything is okay. Everything. Let's go back to the Antichrist, the man of 666, the Roman beast, the triune tyrant, and so forward. Oh yeah, let's just go back to the horrible system that the Catholic protested against 500 years ago, because most of them were Catholics, and they protested the system because they could see something was, at that point it was so, and it's still, the same things, they still believe the same things. If you want to see how many curses the Catholics put on you, just read the Book of Trent. You can find one, another, and so forward. If you don't believe this, you are anathematized. And if you don't believe that, you are anathematized. And this, you are anathematized. You are cursed. You are cursed. You are cursed. Like multiple curses on Protestants. And they will say, oh, we believe the same thing now and all that. No. They are wolves in sheep clothing, and they are liars. They are slick liars, and they're doing a really good job at being slick liars. And of course, infiltrating the groups and leading the people back to, Mr. Fartiness in Rome, So his, the unholy figure in Rome. Oh, he sounds so sweet and this and that. No. He's the biblical, historical, prophetic Antichrist. And when Jesus comes back, he will take the person in the office of the Roman Caesar and throw him in the lake of fire. No, it's not a person we should follow as Christians. We were warned about wolves in sheep clothing, and there we go, in Rome. All the wickedness and all that in the world, seems to be going directly to Rome. Mohammedanism, communism, Nazism. You could take all these things and just look at the mafia, right? Having a cross on their neck and all that. Then going out shooting, killing, whatever, handling drugs, whatever, all the filthiness and whatever. And then, what do? Go to a Catholic priest to get their sins forgiven. Wasn't that the way Jesus said to do things? Oh yeah. Just go out and murder people, kill people, steal, lie, kill, I actually already had that, sell drugs, whatever, do all these things, and then just go to the priest and get forgiveness, It's just insanity. Everything just leads back to Rome, Hitler, Hitler was a good Catholic. No big surprise, but we're not allowed to hear about that, right? The history, the real history is hidden away from us, because there's no Protestants Well, there are some, but there's it's like silent. We get the filthy Catholic version of history. Adulterated his what is it called? Adulterated history in some sense, I think it's called, when it's just we get some pieces, but we don't get them all. So anyway, of course, the God is in control, but is that to say we shouldn't do anything? Just let the things go on? No, I don't think so. Every time God says we should repent and turn back to Him, right? So now, of course, we also have the churches. They still have a lot of issues. Like they have only had 500 years to fix the issues that Luther still had, because Luther had a lot of still Catholic leaven in him. And but he knew who the Antichrist was, and he was speaking very loudly about that, and actually ended in some sense with his last book, around 90 pages, about against the Roman papacy, an institution of the devil. Now, just by looking at the title, it should be in some sense, what did Luther believe about the papacy, the office of the papacy and all its wickedness and all that? Well, he didn't believe that the Pope was a little sweetheart, that's for sure. He starts out the book, the most hellish father. Oh, the most hellish father. That sounds like, in regards of the most hellish father, sounds like the father of lies, maybe, in regards of... Anyway, he talked about the most hellish father, St. Paul III, in his supposed capacity as the bishop of the Roman Church, has written two brief to Charles V, that's the German king, I think, our Lord Emperor, wherein he appears almost furious, growling and boasting, according to the example of his predecessors, that neither an emperor nor anyone else has the right to convoke a council, even a national one, except solely the Pope, or the Poop. The Pope in Rome. That stings throughout the world. He alone has the power to institute, ordain, and create everything which is to be believed and done in the church. He has also issued a papal bull. Well, maybe it's bullshit. Anyway, if one may speak like that. For about the fifth time now, the council is once again to take place in Trent. And you can actually get a book in regards of what they... And you can also actually... I had a Catholic actually give me a link. And I found another link where all the curses was found in a document. Because it seems like the curses are found this way and that way and all that. And of course it has... apparently it has a section of the... the so-called Pope, the blasphemous Pope, the so-called, blasphemous so-called Holy Father in Rome. His so-called holiness, his fartiness, if anything, that seems a lot more honest, actually, or his unholy faker, because he is an unholy faker. Anyway, so, in any case, yeah, well, anyway, you can get the book and you can look on the internet and look at all the curses. Oh, we're just the same. Oh, really? Oh, really? Do you think, do Protestants pray to Mary? I don't think so. Do we believe that the cookie Jesus becomes the literal body, blood, flesh, and sinews of God, of Jesus Christ? No. No. At least if we do, in regards to the Danish Lutheran churches, they have a problem there if they believe that. I still have a little, I'm not really getting that much, having some difficulties with the Lutheran priest in this country, apparently. But in any case, I think they still have it as believing that the bread actually becomes which is false. It's symbolic for what he did for us, He broke his bread and his wine poured out for the sins of the world once and for all. Now, one thing that Luther absolutely was attacking was that he did not believe it was a sacrifice. Because the Catholics believe that it's a perpetual, ongoing sacrifice that they do in their whorehouses. On the altar, on the pagan altar, they fix this and do this, mass thing and sacrifice Jesus Christ for the God and for the dead and the living again. Apparently, they think so. This is not this is not the you know, Jesus died once and for all for the sins of the world. So anyway, so they have a wrong idea of these things. You see, it's very veiled, like with a Christian facade, but behind the veil is just paganism, it seems, sun worship. You know, you have a, you know, just look at what the so-called, well, his fartiness, what does his fartiness actually has in his front yard? Well, he has an Egyptian phallus, and if we're going to use a standard word, he has a penis standing in his front yard. But don't worry, it has been, you know, it has gotten a cross on top of it and all that. So now it's Christianized apparently. You take, you know, a thing from a pagan religion, and actually, you know, a erect penis, and you just put it on St. Peter's Place in the middle of it, and then you just, you know, apparently whatever, and then put a cross on top of it, and then everything is apparently okay. You know, that doesn't seem Christian to me. You know, if the so-called Pope had been a Christian, he would have destroyed it. He wouldn't have anything to do with it. You know, oh, no, it's Christianized now. You know how Catholics could go around that? Oh yeah, it has been. You know, there's a cross on top of it. Oh, there's a cross on top of it. So then that makes everything okay. Everything okay. There's a cross on top of it, of the Egyptian erect penis. You know, just keep memory. And I think it goes back to sun worship again as well. It seems that everything goes back to sun worship in one way or another. But again, it's a mystery Babylon religion, so there's some mysteries in it in some sense. It's hard to see from the outside in some sense because it's veiled with Christianity. But the cookie Jesus as well, it seems to be found in other pagan religions, where Catholics, when they came, I've read about two places where they came. It's like surprised that they seem to have the same ritual in regards of the sun cookie, you know. So anyway, that's very sad. Oh well, it's beginning to get cold already, and probably the sun seems to be, yeah, it's can't see it anymore, but I still have some buildings in front of me, so it's oh, that's true. Okay. Let's see. There we go. So, so pretty much, I guess, ready for the day of rest. It was it was very nice in regards of waking up to some light. You know, it really did affect one positively, even if yeah. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. A little here, a little there, I guess. I was thinking of doing well, that's in Danish, a little Danish book, some more practice of these letters. I actually have the letters over here. It's, you know, it's again a little practice here and there. Here we go. And of course it's seen in the wrong direction, but as you can see, these letters are like different, at least. Like the A, B, C, D, but it's the same, you know, A, B, C, D, and so forward, so that's nice, but still hard to read some of the old Danish. Oh yeah, I talked with the guy in regards of Luther. You know, I found this guy in Denmark that was translating a lot of the books of Luther. And I've got in contact with him, but I'm not sure he's going to. I'm not sure he wants to. And it seems he also has issues if the, you know, in regards to the papacy. And I was like, oh, not another one. You know, like, you know, just, you know, how can you be you know, totally in some sense seemingly fan of Luther, Martin Luther, and yet not know and be sure who the Antichrist is, you know? It's just, you know, Luther is just talking really, you know, he's getting all the Yeah, and that's not to say that Luther still had a lot of issues, a lot of Catholic issues, but we have to remember they're coming out of this, they're beginning to research things and they have grown up with these things. They're trying, at least. Now, sadly, Luther seemingly seemed to actually had stopped a lot of the Reformation in some sense when he came back in 1522 or something like that. But anyway, that's not to say that we throw everything out. I think he was very much correct in regard to the Antichrist. And it was not only Luther, it was all the Protestants that protested. That's why they're called Protestants. Because they protested the Antichrist and the whole riding him. Or the beast. So I don't understand how Luther, a guy that actually translates Luther and reads Luther's material and seems to be a great fan of him in some sense, can't be sure who the Antichrist is when Luther was really big-mouthed in regards to that. And I think pretty much, there are some things in regards we shouldn't curse on anyone and all that. And there seems to be some things that are, but again, he's... Luther used some really vulgar words and all that, and I guess, it seems, at least he's just spitting it out there. He already have a, what shall we say, a death decree on him, because he was known as a heretic, and thereby you were allowed to kill him. And Andreas Karlstadt as well had that on him. I think he got it at the same time as Luther. But again, sadly, Luther came back and seemingly got Karlstadt kicked out of the city. I'm still not sure about the details, but something doesn't sound good. And Luther is himself talking about Karlstadt here and there, and it seems like, one of his letters, he says he didn't, it seems like he thinks that Karlstadt was overtaking, in some sense, his Reformation. That just doesn't sound good, That's in regards of the table books of Luther, where he talks about, I think it's that book where he talks about Karlstadt, and he seems to, in some sense, it's just, I have some issues on that for sure. And of course, Martin Luther used Paulus a lot, and I think that's a problem with Paulus. I think the enemy came very quickly after Jesus Christ, as he prophesied in regards of an enemy would come and sow the bad seeds, and that we should be aware of wolves in sheep clothing, because they could, if even possible, deceive the elect, So, anyway, I think we have lost a lot of historical sources on that as well, because we know from Paulus' own letter that all Asia left him, according to himself. We know that some of the things that Jesus is speaking in regards of Asia, to the 7 congregations in Asia, is actually like, for example, food sacrificed to false gods, which Jesus is rebuking them about, yet we have Paulus promoting it. So who are we going to? And of course Ephesus, where Paulus was teaching. Jesus is talking about that there were some false apostles, and they found them liars. They tested them and found them liars. So it was someone that wasn't that obvious. They needed to test them, and then they found them liars and rejected them. And of course we have the Nicolaitans, I think that actually, and the synagogue of Satan. All of the things are already there. And the Nicolaitans are those that, are over the people in some sense, as far as I actually still have some articles to read on that. Actually, didn't I have more sources on that? That's only 1, 2. Okay, I have been reading some of it apparently, but I thought it was... it's not easy when you have like papers all the way. But this is some of it. I had others that I needed to read, but anyway. It's a lot of stuff to read. And you never know when you... Anyway, Shabbat Shalom, all of you. Have a good day. A day of, yeah. It says 7:42, so the sun has gone down in Denmark. So it is the 7th day, or at least in regards of turning the 7th day very close. Now, in regards of start, usually I just started in regards of, the sunset. At least that's the, in some sense, that's a good marker to follow after. But there are some times, where it's, where it takes longer or shorter for the thing to actually become dark. So, and of course we know that God called the light day and the night darkness. But in any case, it's I usually try to follow after the sunset. So Shabbat Shalom, all of you. Have a good, blessed day in the 7th day. And yeah. So I'll stop this now. 42 minutes, so we got a little of that. Talk. And may Jehovah be with you, and may the sun be a most precious pearl, and don't throw him away. And the Spirit of truth, the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of God, be in us all. Bye bye. Shalom.